Welcome to the chamber. Here, we can control humidity, temperature, and light to provide a perfect growing environment for our plants.
Hello and welcome back to NearCon and to this talk, yield farming, vertical farming in the blockchain world. Now, just to get us into context, you got to look at the chamber and one of our test facilities. But long story short, to put us in context, growing vegetables in stacked layers, be it levels or racks, is what vertical farming is, which allows us to maximize the yield per square meter. It's also done in a controlled environment, which means we're able to control temperature, humidity, and most importantly, grow all through the year with a lower carbon footprint. Why is that? It is given that we're recycling, for instance, water. We can use less space and also leave space for regenerative agriculture, as well as reducing the miles or kilometers from farm to table. Now, diving into what blockchain is able to provide to the rising ecosystem in vertical farming, it's still in its early stages, but we can see a couple of them, starting with supply chain traceability. Again, from seed to table. Smart contracts allow us to track the development of a plant from beginning to the end. That means all the way from the day it's seeded to the day it's transplanted to the growing system and the day it's harvested, which allows a consumer to have transparency and traceability of where their food is coming from. And that is of interest, of course, both in the retail and in the restaurant area. Another application of blockchain in the vertical farming space is the evolution of ownership. What we mean by that is, for example, a farm share. Let's imagine you own a token that represents part of a farm, part of a hydroponic system. So the way it would work, and as mentioned, is still under development, is by owning a token which represents a part of a company or of a farm, you grow, or the asset and token holder grows along with the plants that are being grown in the farm and along with the company itself. And what we're looking at the moment, minting a new kind of NFT, in this example, minting mint, which entails the minting of a digital artwork representing a plant. Now, we came up with this PlanFT concept. It's plant NFTs bridging the digital and the physical world. Now, we do invite NFT architects, blockchain enthusiasts, and anywhere in the developer ecosystem to join us and to reach out and to envision this new way of bridging those two worlds. But to begin with, let's start with a basic specialty crop. For example, here you see a mix between red and green basil. It's a fusion. So we have this rare crop. Then we have an NFT or a digital artwork representing this, and not only one plant, but for example, one vessel, the pot in which the plant is grown, which in its turn would have sustainability metrics, impact metrics attached to it. What does that mean? That means, for example, which NFT along the lifetime value of one system, let's say one system is able to produce 500 plants in its lifetime value. Just let's play this hypothetical game together. So this 500 plants represent a saving in terms of water, a saving in terms of kilometers of transport in supply chain, a saving in terms eventually of carbon emissions. So you have that link between the sustainability metrics, the attributes, and they are safely recorded on the metaverse and as attributes of the NFT, and each token holder or investor can hold that as a commitment to sustainability, and of course trade it as the value, and as mentioned, this would be a future integration and a potential integration, as the value of the NFT can rise within new harvest, within every new plant grown on that vessel corresponding to the NFT. One could generate yield, or in this case, increment their impact. Now, yield farming, a new way to harvest. We'll talk about it a bit more later on, but imagine owning an NFT or subscribing to a service in which, by owning the NFT, you can yield plants, right? So it's bridging again the digital NFT world with a physical asset, in this case, a positive impact asset, hydroponically grown plants. Now, distributed farms, to get into context of how it would look like, where would these plants be grown, and what we're all about. So we're building distributed plants, small, strategically positioned, energy efficient farms, and what we plan to do is make them blockchain ready from the get-go. Meaning, for example, as we just saw, we have NFTs corresponding to each and every pot of these hydroponic barrels that are growing. We onboard our supplier as the barrels themselves, and we're in conversation about them. We onboard our clients, our partners, and we facilitate the ecosystem development and adoption. In this case of NEAR, we have successfully created a DAO, and we're looking to expand our initiatives within it and within the ecosystem. So we envision a future where vertical farming is directly intertwined with the blockchain world, as will many other sectors be, of course, but we're trying to push that angle and encourage other vertical farms to do it as well. Now, about decentralization, we see not only our vertical farm at Raiz, but also other vertical farms as interested, and we encourage DAOs to be formed, both in vertical farming ecosystem, but of course in all the other parts of the supply chain, as mentioned, hydroponic providers, growers, seeds, etc., to join the ecosystem and collaborate. In this example, we have a farm network, which is our vision. So distributed farm network, all of them providing data to a cloud brain that allows us to track how the plants are growing, what they need, and which stage of the growing process they are. So it becomes interesting again how the blockchain can chip in each part of this process, right? And that's a challenge which is being addressed not only in this sector but in other, how to appropriately link each physical part of the process with the digital assets that can be connected with them, both by creating digital pairs, digital twins, and other dApps and applications. But it's something that's developing and something that will most likely in the midterm be fully integrated. Now, in terms of users, as mentioned, we would have clients who actually buy the plants or buy the NFTs itself for offsetting their impact, and of course for the value of the NFT itself and its appreciation towards times. We have investors as well, both in the NFT or in the future, for example, for the farm share. And we see potential for different dApp development, all the way from tracking, as mentioned, from seed to table, to minting digital assets from specialty crops or from new avant-garde systems, and to yield farming, right? Subscribing to a process in which you are yielding by holding or staking, you are yielding actual plants. So yield farming in a quite literate manner. Now, we're not in this alone, of course. We're just stewarding vertical farming towards a blockchain integration and towards net zero and carbon neutral ecosystem and of course world in the bigger picture. But we're proud to be onboarded with NEAR, and of course it makes absolutely sense with their South Pole integration or accreditation, that we are on board with them and working towards a cleaner future. Now, in terms of digital assets, as mentioned, we're not alone. It's a growing ecosystem. We have, for example, carbon tokens by BX, which is already working with traditional farmers. We have regenerative practices and safe practices for the environment in terms of carbon capture. We have Cello or Silo working with the rainforest products as well in terms of carbon capture and carbon digitalization. And of course, in NEAR, one fellow speaker, Open Forest Protocol, they're working as well, doing fantastic work in carbon capture and asset digitalization. And we are very hopeful to see other vertical farming assets and applications coming along. As mentioned, we are looking to onboard as many technical and practical people to further develop these vertical farming applications. We couldn't be more excited to see what unveils in the future and what we can do together for a more sustainable future and to change the way we connect with food, with each other, with the environment. Thank you very much.